Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, March 3rd, 2025. I am Dave Biddle. I'll be joined by Dan Rubin in just a moment. And thank you to Dan for covering for me last week when I was down to see Reds spring training, which was really cool. So thanks to Dan for that. And a lot to get into. I think an underreported / underrated story is whether Ohio State is going to break Georgia's record that was set 3 years ago as far as the most players drafted in a particular year from a particular school. Ohio State, of course, set that record themselves back in 2004 with 14 players drafted. Took a while. Then Georgia beat that in 2022 with 15 players drafted. Ohio State has 15 players at the combine. We're going to go through all of them. Are any of those guys going to go undrafted? I don't think so. Let's see what Dan thinks. And then they just need one more to break the record. That would be Josh Fryer or G. Scott. Hopefully both of them. Hopefully they don't just get to 16, they get to 17. But if they get to 16, they break the record. And so who are these guys that are some of the guys that are helping themselves the most? You know, I love seeing some of these stories that are coming out with some of our guys at the combine. So we're going to get into all of that. Before that we do that, I want to show you guys my new wallet here. See my wait, I got to turn it around. Seriously, Ridge Wallet. This is just a new age modern wallet, and it's so cool. And we can get you guys a great deal. It's also a good conversation starter. You know, when I was at the hotel bar, I would just sit this thing down. I mean, look how big this is compared to my phone. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, look at this. It's tiny, as you can see. I have mine. Look at this. Anyway, conversation piece for sure, because it's so modern and so small, and we can get you guys a great deal. Let me pull that up, actually. I'm a little out of practice here, my friends. I'm still down in Arizona. I have Arizona still on my mind. Highly recommend it. All right. But seriously, I highly recommend this awesome wallet. Dan has one as well. He'll show you. You know, it can hold up to 12 cards. It can hold your cash. All right. We are happy to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, Ridge Wallet. Are you still carrying around the same bulky, overstuffed leather wallet that you've had for years, like I was? It's time for an upgrade. Meet Ridge Wallet, the sleek, minimalist wallet that's changing the game. Ridge wallets are extremely thin, yet you can securely hold up to 12 cards plus cash without adding unnecessary bulk. These are made from premium, high-performance materials like carbon fiber, titanium, and stainless steel. Ridge wallets are built to last. In fact, they come with a lifetime warranty, meaning this is the last wallet you'll ever need to buy. Right now, Ridge is having their once-in-a-year anniversary sale. Get up to 40% off at ridge.com/bucknuts. Just head to ridge.com/bucknuts to see their biggest sale of the year. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. I'm telling you, it's like some guy was asking me, like, what is that? And I'm like, it's my wallet. He's like, seriously, what is that? I'm like, it's my wallet. He's like, nah, he's like, come on. I'm like, then I showed it to him, you know? So hopefully I'm, you know, not just to you guys, but I was spreading the word down in Arizona about Ridge Wallet. All right. Dan Rubin, great to see you. Thank you for all of your hard work last week, my friend.
I don't know how hard it was hanging out with the people, but how was the sun and fun? We almost had another Ron Wilson situation because I referred to the manager of the Reds as Tito Franco, and then I was shot down heavily. But tell us, was it worth the trip? What exactly did you do for the people?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was definitely a bucket list item for me. I don't really have like anything else that really would compare to that as far as something I definitely wanted to cross off, because I've heard for years it was really cool because you can get close to the players. Definitely true. Great time to get out of Ohio.
Arizona, right? Not Florida.
Yeah, this is Arizona. Yeah, and I'm going to nerd out and tell you guys a little bit of story because it has a Buckeye flavor big time down there. I mean, obviously there's even a town, you know, pretty close to Goodyear named Buckeye. So definitely was a bucket list item because you get out of Ohio in late February. I thought that'd be cool, even in early March. Good time to get out of Ohio weather-wise, seeing some Reds baseball. There's a lot of cool things about it. My favorite thing, I went to the workouts every morning, practice. They call them workouts. They have them every morning. They're free, and you can get so close to the players. So that's the best thing, in my opinion. I also went to 3 games, including one in Tempe where I met Jay Book.
Nice.
Jay Book, I met up and went to a day game out there. He took a half day of work. We went to Tempe Diablo Stadium, home of the Angels. Now, the irony is not lost on me that the Angels play at Devil Stadium. The Angels play at Diablo Stadium down in Tempe. I get it. Sun Devils, right? I get it. It's still funny that the Angels play at Devil Stadium. Diablo, obviously Spanish for devil. We saw Mike Trout hit a home run at that game. We saw Ellie De La Cruz hit a home run. So anyway, I thought going to games was fun. Going to practices was fun. The weather was fun. Okay, here's where I'm going to nerd out real quick on Goodyear. So cool. I kind of figured Goodyear was named after the Goodyear Tire Company, but there's a town called Buckeye down there. We're talking like, so this is the west suburbs of Phoenix. It used to not be suburbs. It was just desert. Goodyear had a population of like 10,000 people in 1990. Now it's up to 120,000. Here's the reason it's called Goodyear. The Goodyear Tire Company from Ohio, of course, years ago, like 80 years ago, maybe a little more, bought a ton of land down there to grow cotton. I didn't realize cotton was a big deal in tires, but they were. So they bought swaths of land down there, called it Goodyear. And here's another thing, Dan, that's really cool. So that's why it's called Goodyear, and this is why there's so many references to Buckeye. There's a town called Buckeye. I'm telling you, man, in Goodyear alone, as you're driving around, there's like 10 different roads with Buckeye in the title somewhere. It's so crazy. And I think it's really cool. The Guardians and the Reds are right there together. They have their own facilities where they work out, have practices and everything. They have separate facilities, but they're right there. And then they share the same stadium. So it's very cool. I highly recommend it to anybody. All right, let's get down to brass tacks.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Really cool. All right. Okay. I'm just going to go down the list here. There's 15 guys. I'm going to give you the question ahead of time. Do you think anybody is going to would you be shocked if any of the guys at the combine right now from Ohio State go undrafted? I'm going to go through all of them because I would be if any of these guys get undrafted or undrafted free agents. Donovan Jackson, no way. Josh Simmons, no way. Seth McLaughlin, no way. I know those guys are coming. McLaughlin's coming off an injury still, no way. JTT, no way. I'm going by position here, by the way. Captain Jack, no way. Tyleek, no way he goes undrafted. Ty Hamilton, no way he goes undrafted. I don't think he's going to be drafted early, but he'll get drafted. Our running backs, Quinshawn, who helped himself a lot, and Trey, they're getting drafted. Emeka's getting drafted. Denzel Burke's getting drafted. Jordan Hancock's getting drafted. Lathan Ransom's getting drafted. Big Willie Style is getting drafted. Will Howard. Cody Simon's getting drafted. Would you be shocked if any of those guys go undrafted?
Yes.
Yeah. So now that gets us to 15 right there. Bam. We tie Georgia. Now we need Josh Fryer or G. Scott Jr., hopefully both of them, to get to 16 and or 17. That would break the record. Will that happen? Will 16 happen? If I said it at 15 and a half, what are you taking, the over or the under?
I think the over.
I would too.
I think we'll split the bit there. Truthfully, I really don't know the answer to that. And anyone who says they do, it's purely speculative. I thought you brought up the key factor in that we had 15 guys invited to the combine. 15 will get drafted. I would almost be willing to say all will be drafted in the first 5 rounds. It may be close for Ty Hamilton.
His brother's going to help him, though.
Facts, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And also, he was very strong. And look, he's got plenty of experience, and he's a winner. Yeah, I would actually bet that all 15 get drafted before the end of the 5th round. And then those last 2, don't know, man. That's such a coin toss. It would stand to reason that if you're picking in the 7th round, where guys, the chances the guy make the team aren't 100%, you want to draft a guy with, both Fryer and G. Scott are tremendous locker room guys. They are winners. They play on the line, and I put that in air quotes, which is a lot of times where you want to get guys. I think G. Scott could probably play some special teams. So we shall see. I will tell you this. This is a fact. They will both have a very good chance to make a roster. I would bet this. I'll bet there's 17 Buckeyes on NFL teams starting next year.
Yeah, I just want the record because Ohio State held it for so long themselves. Yep. The crux of that 2002 national championship team, the 2004 draft, because a lot of those guys were juniors. when they won the title. They held it for a while till Georgia broke it. Now let's break it 3 years later. Yeah, that'd be great. I hope Josh and G both get drafted. But, yeah, I think there's a good chance that one of them will. And hopefully, I mean, is there any chance any of the guys at the Combine are not going to get drafted? Like, I don't see Lathan Ransom ever mentioned as a top, as a second-day pick. But I'd be shocked if he's not a day 3 pick, right? I mean, shocked.
Well, just for the people, Dave, define day 1, 2, and 3 now because they mean different things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been this way for a few years now. But, yeah, day 1 is first round. Day 2 is second round, third round. And then day 3 is rounds 4 through 7. And really when you factor in the supplemental pick – or not the supplemental picks, then it's almost like an 8-round draft because I think there's 32 supplemental picks, something like that, right around there. So it almost makes it like an 8-round draft if you count that. So, yeah, first day is just the first round, first night. Second night, rounds 2 and 3, and then you have 4 and 7. So 4 through 7.
I got a question for you.
I can't imagine guys like – go ahead.
How many guys go on the first night? That's a hard question.
So Emeka's the guy I always see mentioned. Josh Simmons used to be lock, and he still is, but he's been like falling down because of the injury. So Emeka's a lock.
Donovan Jackson.
I think Donovan Jackson is helping himself out a lot. I jotted this down.
Start to read the most recent stuff. Read the most recent stuff.
And the idea that he wouldn't be long enough to play tackle is out the window. He has the film, as we all know, from playing great at left tackle. How about this? Measured at 6'4", 315 pounds, 33.5-inch arms. I mean, Josh Simmons didn't hurt himself with 33-inch arms. Donovan Jackson has even longer arms than Josh Simmons. So 33.5-inch arms, his versatility, plus he's a great guy. Like, he's a great young man, which is another thing that's so cool about them winning the national championship is this. They put together like a team of like great people who also happen to be great at football. It's really awesome. And Donovan Jackson embodies that. Yeah, I can see him going first round. I can see JTT. I can see somebody taking a chance on him. Tyleek. Emeka's a lock. Emeka's one of those guys that's like the safest pick in the draft. Emeka is going to. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say the safest. I'm pretty sure Travis Hunter is going to be a freaking superstar, but like an Abdul Carter. But like, you take Emeka Egbuka, dude, you have him for 10 years, no doubt about it, and he's going to be successful.
If you want to talk safer and the classic definition of the word, I think he's as safe as anybody in the draft. I can tell you this, and I've been repeating this, the guys I watch who are unbiased when it comes to Ohio State, the further and further we go in draft talk, they're like, I'd be very comfortable with Donovan Jackson. The Cowboys picked 12th, but I don't want to pick him 12. They're like, I'm most comfortable with Emeka Egbuka. I just don't want to pick him 12. When it comes right down to it, both those guys are going to get picked in the first round. The question is, does someone sneak in there that we don't think? Like Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. People are sleeping on Quinshon Judkins, man. I'm just telling you this. I know this is a cliche, so I tried to think of another way to say this, and I don't have it. The cliche is he's going to be a better pro than he was a college player. You know what I'm saying? That cliche. That
he's a damn.
I really honestly,
yeah.
But I really believe that for Judkins. I cannot tell you how many people the cursory Fran, that was my girlfriend in high school, cursory fan brings up to me the fact that he got caught from behind on that run. And I'm like, first of all, you know how many guys get 70-yard runs in the NFL? Go look up how many 70-yard runs were run by guys last year in the NFL. It's not a huge number. It certainly shouldn't be an issue for you. Also, the NFL Network did the overlay for you of the 40 times. He lost to Trey by what? A step? He was 4'8", 220 pounds. The highest vertical, 38-something verticals, the highest vertical ever jumped by someone at least 220 pounds. He had a ridiculous broad jump. Dude, I'm telling you, you'd rather have the guy from Iowa, Caleb Johnson, than Quinshon Judkins? I would not. I'm going back to where I felt like last year. There aren't many guys in this draft I'd rather have than Quinshon Judkins. I'm just saying, when all is said and done, he fits the NFL to me beautifully. He's tougher than – I just love the guy. I love both of them, but in terms of an every down back, I think he's the one that's been devalued to some extent. I don't get it.
Yeah, Trey didn't hurt himself, but he didn't help himself, in my opinion. He weighed in at 202 pounds. No surprise. Ran a 4.43, 4.43 at the combine. But he's supposed to be the Blazer. Some thought he might be in the 4.3s, and I bet he will be at pro day. But Quinshon, 4.48, as you mentioned. Yeah, you just a half step, slower than Trey at 221 pounds with that vertical leap. Yeah, Quinshon, I wouldn't be shocked if he sneaks into the first round. And if you get him in the second round, you're going to love life. Love life if you get him in the second round. He's not going to slip any further. I think he's an every
down back. I think he's an every down back. Yeah.
Nailed it. Now, I will say Trey's blocking will help, but Q was a good blocker too this year. It's just Trey just became like a great blocker. So, and that's Carlos Lachlan effect. I think Tony Alford did a decent job teaching blocking, but Lachlan came in and was like, we need you guys to be Zeke Elliott. And they're like, what? Like, yeah, this is what you guys are going to do. You're going to have to deal with Carlos Lachlan putting you in a headlock. No pun intended. All right, Big Willie style. I think he helped himself. He didn't tear it up or anything. We know he's not going to go out there and he doesn't have like a cannon, but he's rock solid. He measured in at exactly 6'4", 236 pounds. Almost exactly what Ohio State listed him at. It's another thing I like. Ohio State, these guys, they list, Ohio State is so accurate with their rosters. It's very unique in football rosters or basketball rosters. I've ever seen anything like this. Anyway, I think
who isn't, Dave?
Second round lock. Go ahead.
Who isn't?
Say who isn't what?
Accurate in their reporting of heights and weights. Are you familiar with any schools that don't do that accurately? Are you familiar with any defensive lineman listed at 320 pounds that weighed in at 296 pounds? Mason Graham, by the way. So now the problem is
about Michigan.
Yeah,
he lost a little too much weight. Huh? Well, Mason was a really good wrestler, so he's used to cutting weight to
24 pounds.
That's a lot. I mean, he's a wrestler.
Did he have a meet after the combine? Was there a wrestling meet on Tuesday I wasn't aware of?
Sure, he wanted to look fast at the combine, I guess. I don't know,
Great player, but still.
I'm glad we don't have to see those guys anymore. What did Kenneth Grant measure in at? He was like 300?
I don't know. I fear him too much. I couldn't even watch.
I'm glad those guys are gone. Good. All right. Big Willie style, as I call him. 6'4", 236. Weak quarterback class. With his leadership and him turning into Joe Burrow during the 4K, I don't know what happened during the playoffs. He had a very good regular season, and he just had a phenomenal 4-game stretch in the playoffs, just dropping dimes all over the place. It was so cool. Actually, before we get to that, I don't want to forget about this. Before we get to that, we'll give Dan time to think about it, where Big Willie style is going to go in the draft. So, as I mentioned earlier, I got a chance to go over to Tempe, Arizona, and check out, which Tempe, Arizona is always going to have a soft spot in my heart because of Sun Devil Stadium, where Ohio State won the national championship in 2002. Then went back the next year and beat Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl. Then went back 2 years after that and beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. And then that was the last time that Sun Devil Stadium hosted a game. So I went over to Tempe to meet Jay Book. We had a great time at Devil Stadium where the Angels play. Still hilarious to me. And Jay Book had a really nice pair of sunglasses on. Jay Book does it. He's a big timer, But I thought I looked just as good. Maybe not just as good as J-Book overall, but I think my sunglasses look just as good. Goodr. Rocking my $25 pair of Goodr sunglasses. You can check. J-Book put a picture of us on the Twitter machine. I mean, I'm rocking my Goodr sunglasses on the trip. Do you guys want stylish sunglasses starting at just $25 a pair? Goodr is the place for you. And me. I'm serious. I'm a customer for sure. These are Operation Blackouts. This is what I was rocking at spring training. All right. You can pick from a wide variety of shades from Goodr, and you can also help our show out and get a good deal. So everybody wins. That's right. If you need a new pair of sunglasses, Goodr is giving Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners free shipping. You can go to goodr.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. You won't need those things, but it's nice that they're there. 30-day money-back guarantee, 100% satisfaction. Again, that's Goodr.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Bam. Consider just leaving those on for the rest of the show, but Dan didn't want me to. No, I'm just lying.
Yeah.
All right. Will Howard, weak quarterback class. His leadership is just off the charts. He's the prototypical size for an NFL quarterback. He's got some mobility, some decent mobility. He's not a great athlete. Doesn't have a cannon. Accurate. Go. Where's he going? What do you think is going to happen with him?
I did find the combine interesting. He got booed and cheered. It was wild. If you ever needed further evidence of the game's vibes, they were on display for everyone to see. He is such a low-hanging fruit guy for the media, it seems to me. Like, they have no problem taking shots at him. They have no problem building him up. He could literally flip a coin and read that he's the next Joe Montana or that he's not ever going to play a snap in the NFL. It's bizarre almost. Isn't it weird? I can't remember a guy whose people are just so all over the map on him.
Do you think it's because he was?
I mean, do we judge? When are we going to judge like results?
Real quick, and I'll turn back. Like, I think probably the answer to that is he came in with everybody thinking he's a day 3 guy, maybe early day 3, but he came in when he transferred from Kansas State, probably thinking like 4th round at best, probably 5th round, maybe if things go well, 4th round. Things go bad, 6th round, something like that. Then he turns himself like, oh, by the end of the regular season, maybe a 3rd round guy, right? And then he has this run in the playoffs. I think maybe it's taken some people who maybe haven't paid attention that much to maybe didn't put enough stock in the playoff run. If they did, already had this image of who Will Howard is in their minds and haven't changed it that much. Because I would bet anything he'll at least be a 2nd round pick. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes in the late 1st round. I wouldn't take him in the late 1st round probably, but it's a weak quarterback class. That's why I say it would shock me for a team to take him late in the 1st round. But I think he's a lock to go at least in the 2nd round.
So when we did this last year, we were talking, heading into the season when Howard was transferring and stuff. If you remember, he was negotiating with Jim Nagy, the guy who ran the Senior Bowl, who ironically just became the general manager of the Oklahoma Sooners. Digress. And he was negotiating whether he was going to go to the Senior Bowl and go pro or enter the transfer portal. And he was told, we have about a 4th to 5th round grade on you right now if you come to the Senior Bowl. So that's one of the reasons I wanted Dave to say day 3, because the 4th round is day 3. If you get drafted in the 4th round, I'm not saying you're expected to be a starter at any position, but they want you.
Right.
The break to me is the 5th round. The 5th round is when you start I hate to say this out loud. They'll say it's the felon round. It's the injured round. I'm just telling you what they call it.
Bengals do that in the 3rd round, by the way. The Bengals get out ahead of everybody. They made sure they got Jermaine Burton in the 3rd round. They turned the 3rd round into the felon round.
Hey, listen, if you are a superior athlete with a questionable background, if you can hurt your knee quickly enough, the Cowboys will pick you in the 2nd round, okay? That's what we do. The 2nd round. Boss man fat. Google that one. The linebacker that Taylor Decker took out in the Cotton Bowl. Look at that one. Anyway, I might be wrong on that. All right. Will Howard. And then people were like, he was inaccurate. If you make a decision on who to draft based on how they throw at the combine, you should be fired. Okay? You're throwing without pads on to guys you've never thrown to before in a situation which will never, ever be repeated again. We're really just seeing if they're willing to throw. It's kind of like now they're saying, oh my gosh, look how fast everyone is in the 40. Really? Anybody who runs above a 4.5 doesn't run anymore now. So when everyone runs a 4.4, it's because only the fast guys run. No one runs anymore. They'll go to their pro day and run 39 yards on an incline and drop their 40 time down to 4.41. Another thing, Jalen Smith, Mika, great job. Another thing.
It never fails. It never fails, man. Our live chat always comes through. If I forget a name or you forget a name, 100% they'll help us out.
So here's the thing. I heard someone do a kind of review of where Mel Kiper's done this recently, and someone else did it who I really like. Where you get drafted as a quarterback, how successful you are. Ironically, the second round, there really aren't that many second-round quarterbacks that have been successful. You can find an outlier. But the guys who go in the second round aren't as successful as the guys who maybe go in the fourth round. Because in the second round, you're kind of what they want, but not really. Whereas the fourth round, the guys are almost underrated or misdiagnosed or had an injury. So in the first round, the chances are above 60%. Second round's tough. So I'm kind of hoping he gets picked early third. I actually think he's going to get picked in the second round.
Yeah, Drew Brees. I'm trying to think.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
And you have one. You cannot tell me that one guy did not go gaga over the playoffs. One quarterback coach. And that's all it takes.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I was racking my brain when you said second round. I was thinking, Andy Dalton had a nice little run there for about 4 years with the Bengals. They actually made the playoffs his first 5 years. But I wouldn't consider that. I mean, it was a good pick, second round, Andy Dalton. But Drew Brees, I guess, would be the exception to that rule.
Drew Brees is the one. He's the outlier.
Drew Brees is the second round pick that they
got. Also, Dave.
They got Tomlinson.
With Drew Brees. Hold on a second. Let's finish on Drew Brees first.
Yeah.
Drew Brees, there's a lot of revisionist history with Drew Brees. The Chargers got rid of Drew Brees, okay?
I know.
They drafted a quarterback, Phillip Rivers, with a high draft pick with Drew Brees on the roster. Brad remembers. So
Brad remembers. Brad's still upset that Eli Manning. Brad's still upset that Mannings don't get enough flack for the Chargers actually drafted Manning. And then, I'm kidding.
Well, Brad's a traditionalist.
It is funny, though. If there was anybody else, they probably would have got flack for being they are prima donnas. But, no, Eli Manning didn't really get any flack for that. It wasn't his fault. His dad just didn't.
What's ironic is
Archie Manning knew a lot about playing for a trash organization. This is before my time, but Archie Manning playing for the New Orleans Saints back in the day. Mm-hmm. Speaking of New Orleans Saints quarterbacks, which you're talking about Drew Brees. No, you're totally right. And I know Brees hurt his shoulder. By the way, there were two quarterbacks on the
last play of the season.
There were two quarterbacks on the free agent market that season, prominent. Nick Saban was taking over the Dolphins. He had his pick of those two. He picked Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. Nick Saban picked Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. True story. True Hollywood story.
But he takes no blame for that. He blames it all on the doctors. Because
Drew Brees was coming off a torn labrum to his throwing shoulder, and Braxton Miller can tell you that can end badly. Braxton never played quarterback ever again, and I don't consider the shotgun his senior year to be playing quarterback. After Vic Beasley wrecked his shoulder in that Orange Bowl, Braxton never played quarterback again in his life, which sucks for him.
Brees hurt his shoulder. That is why they drafted Rivers. I think Rivers was already on the team.
That's my recollection. Is Rivers was a rookie. Brees was still the starter and ended up having a really good year, but then dove for that fumble. Dude, they dove on the fumble and just wrecked his shoulder. So I do understand. I like giving Saban crap about that. I get it. You have a 5'9", 5'10", whatever he is, listed at 6 foot quarterback who just wrecked his throwing shoulder. I get it. And Dante Culpepper is about 6'6", 250. Can throw the ball out of the stadium. I get it. It's still funny though. It's like Angels playing at Devil Stadium. It's funny. I get it, but it's still funny.
Culpepper, by the way, had a decent career with the Vikings. It wasn't like they were going after a guy who had never done anything.
It was just he was taking over for when Randall Cunningham had that fantastic year in '98. Of course, when you have Randy Moss, helps the cause. Randy Moss, pretty good at the football. I have one more.
Chris Carter's all right.
Chris Carter's pretty good. Having both those guys, that didn't suck. That was not 98 Vikings, still one of the best teams to not make a Super Bowl. My gosh, it's crazy. All right, you guys know I love Factor meals. We've got a great deal for you guys. With Factor, you get fresh, never frozen meals. It's high quality. It's great tasting. It's healthy. No prep. Ready in just 2 minutes. Nothing to clean up. Those are wins all around. Win, 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 win right there. You guys know my story. I love telling it. My guy that I'm friends with, at the fan who was making these old school microwave meals. Like every time that I would co-host a show with him, when I was filling in, he would make one of these old school microwave meals, and I turned him on to Factor. He loves it. He's not buying these old school microwave frozen meals anymore. He's got a Factor subscription. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast. Use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Try it out, my friends. Good stuff.
Your dog likes it.
You can hear Scooby. Now, people at White Scooby, we just didn't change the name. We probably should have. We should have at least changed it to Scrappy because he kind of looks like Scooby, but he is a tough little guy. I've now cleaned up 2. This is just over since we've had him. He's going to turn 3 pretty soon. So we just kept the name that they had him at the Humane Society. We adopted another dog, Anna, as well. We kept her name. So I don't have a cool like story behind it like Brad Beal or anything like that. Scooby is a tough little guy. I've cleaned up in my backyard we've had him 2 dead rabbits and 4 dead rats. And he's not trying to eat them. He thinks he's just like he catches them. And at first I was like, good luck catching a rabbit. I forgot the best one. Because I was like, a lot of times he'd run out there and try and catch a bird. I'm like, yeah, you're never going to catch a bird. This little dude caught a freaking bird and killed a bird. So
that's
I cleaned a dead bird. It's getting to the point now where I'm like immune to like going out there, putting gloves on and picking up dead either rodents or birds or rabbits. Some people are like, I got a grill back there. Maybe the next time I get a rabbit, I should just fire up put some Kingsford charcoal on there, have some grilled rabbit. What do you think?
I put that on the rodents. They should know that Scooby's, if he's set the precedent back there and you then go in there and get attacked, that's on the rodent to me.
He's not a big guy. It's the funniest mix too, man. You're not going to believe this. When we got the DNA test, he's got Chihuahua in him, which he's not the size of a Chihuahua, but you see kind of that, and he's got that scrappiness. You know what else he's got in him? A decent amount? Pit bull. Imagine a Chihuahua and a pit bull. I mean, what are we doing here? And then there's other stuff like terrier. He's got a lot. He's definitely a mutt. But that cracked us up. A Chihuahua. Now, it's not as funny if it would be a 50% Chihuahua pit bull mix. But now it's making sense why he's such a little badass. He's a little badass. But he's also like a really like I wish he was down here now. He's also like a nice lap dog too. Like he's got a crazy personality and a crazy mix. We love him. But Scooby, we shouldn't name him Scooby. We should change it to at least Scrappy Doo. You know, too late now. He's going to turn 3 here in 3 days. He has a birthday coming up.
Middle of the country with a dog named Scooby, beautiful wife and 2 beautiful daughters. You're living the American dream, Dave.
And Anna is she just watches. She goes out there and acts like she's hunting with them. She's just along for the ride, man. She couldn't hurt she acts like she's gonna, chase one of those animals, and she's not. Scooby. Him getting the bird was just, I could not believe that. And then after it happened, awesome. There was another bird that came in that was just swooping down there making these crazy sounds. And it was like, I stepped back.
What was his wife?
Scooby basically was like, oh, you want some more? You want some of this? Like, and then that bird, the bird was coming down making crazy sounds because it knew its guy just got smoked. And like, it's making these sounds I've never heard before, just swooping real low. But then Scooby was like, all right, well, you want to make it 2 for 2? And then it got out of there. So it's equal parts gross, and I'm kind of proud of him. I don't know.
Sure.
Because I love animals.
Like watching your son play football in youth league. You
don't
drive over there
the other guy a concussion, but it's like if he like just drills the other guy and trucks the heck out of him, you're like, way to go, son.
So football, like many things, has gotten they've rounded off the edges, Dave, in terms of what you're allowed to do and say. The last season, my son was playing youth football. So the way it is at Oakwood is, so you have the main stadium, right, where they play football, and they actually play Pee-wee behind the stadium. So what you do is you go up in the visitor stands and look over the back, and it's kind of like your sky suite to the, and I yelled out. So there's a, when the guy gets tackled, but he doesn't go down, he's kind of being held up. And my son went through and knocked him down, but he didn't. And I yelled out, Luke, take the kill shot. And
that's the equivalent of a player doing the throat slash now.
Well, dude, if a guy's being held up like that, that's your best chance to hit him. And next thing you know, there was like one of the guys who helps run the league stand next to me was like, I agree. He probably should have gone for the kill shot, but that's not something we want to broadcast to the crowd.
Mr. Rubin, I agree.
My bad.
Well, I agree.
My bad.
Kill shot, but maybe don't say kill shot.
Exactly.
Oakwood youth football.
It doesn't. Football's great because when you drive over there, you're irrational. Once the game starts, you got to play that way. You get hurt. That's how I was always taught. You know what I'm saying? You got to just kind of balls to the wall. So doesn't fly here as much as basketball, which, by the way, Dave knows. Beaver Creek and Oakwood cover the Dayton Daily News. I think we're done. We play Alter tomorrow night, but it's our first district title in a long time. So got to give credit to my son Luke and the rest of the squad. And your boys rebounded from a tough season to beat Princeton, Paris Johnson High, to get a title. So very cool for the Beavers.
First district title for Beaver Creek basketball in 25 years. There used to be a really good boys basketball program. First district title in 25 years. Proud of those boys. Good job, Creek. And now it's funny, they're going to be playing Groveport in the regional semifinals. My wife happens to be a teacher at Groveport, so and she already hates Beaver Creek because she went to Fairborn High School, which is right down, which neighbors Beaver Creek, and we would consistently beat the hell out of them in every sport, which really wasn't fair. We were a bigger school. They were a small Division I school, and we were a big Division I school. We were both Division I. I think Fairborn's Division II now, so she already doesn't like Beaver Creek, other than maybe this guy. And I don't know. That's probably a stretch. Now her school that she teaches at is going to be going up against Beaver Creek, but we'll see what happens.
Le'Veon Bell High.
It's called, their football field is Le'Veon Bell Field. He donated like $1 million. So, all right.
He wishes he had that back.
We went off the rails here, didn't we? All right. So Josh Fryer is going to get drafted. Now, let's circle all the way back on that. Yeah, I think we're good here. I think we're good here.
He is?
What's that? I think
I'm
Josh Fryer.
Sure
like if you're in the 7th round and you need an offensive lineman, like who's better fit than Josh Fryer? He can play tackle, probably kick into guard. He was a 2-year starter at Ohio State. He's got like 20-some starts under his belt at Ohio State, almost 30 starts under his belt, won a national title, and he was fighting through that ankle injury. I mean, I won't be surprised if he's like a 5th or 6th round pick. I just think that like 7th round, compensatory. I was calling him supplemental earlier. I'm sorry. It's compensatory picks is what I was trying to say earlier.
I know what you meant.
7th round.
One thing that I've noticed.
What's that?
I think everyone knew what you meant. I think people are talking about Emeka Egbuka running the 40 at 4.6. What are you talking about? There's no chance Emeka Egbuka is going to run a 4.6.
Are they predicting that or that happened? Is that going on right now?
He didn't. He did not run. But there are people saying he's been clocked at 4.6. No way. No way, dude. No way. He'll be sub 4. On pro day, I bet he runs under 4.5. 4.49 or lower.
If Burke, I was a guy that helped himself was Denzel Burke, 4.48.
4.48 flying.
I thought it'd be 4.5 for Burke, somewhere in the 4.5s at the combine and somewhere in the high 4.4s. I agree. If Burke, Emeka's going to run in the 4.4s. He's not going to be a 4.3 guy by any means. I think it might be high 4.4s. I'll be surprised if he's in the 4.5s. I'll be shocked if it's 4.6. If you told me it was 4.51, I guess that wouldn't shock me. I'd be surprised.
It won't be 4.6.
I would be I'd be knocked over surprised if he runs in the 4.6s at pro day, especially at pro day, Dan. Listen,
exactly. It's 39 yards downhill. You know what I'm saying? It's not an issue.
I've always said it's a fast track. I've never heard that analogy. I like that. I might steal that.
Yeah, the guy's like, we need to get him to camp and run a good 38 so I get this guy drafted. The scouts want you to do that. They'll fall in love with the guy and like, just run your pro day where it's 38 yards and I'll be able to get you drafted. I don't see that happening. People, I don't get that. There's no way. There's no way. He'll run. Yeah. He'll run on the 4.4s. Also, when people talk about 40 times, if you accurately time the 40, if you really run a 4.40, you're borderline like 4x1 team on the United States. I'm just telling you, you are flying at 4.40. That is, track time, like track start time. Matthew Golden running a 4.29. I don't know about that, but still.
These Texas guys can run, man.
They can.
Xavier Worthy last year.
I'm still a little leery of guys who I'm still like this. I don't love skill players that have transferred, which is kind of bizarre why I love Quinshon so much. I think that was a little different. But I think Ole Miss to Ohio State is not Houston to Texas. You know what I mean? And Golden going from Houston to Texas, I don't know. I'm still a little oogie about Ashton Genty going to Boise State. Why do you go to Boise State? He's that good? Why? Seriously. Yeah. He's from Dallas. They don't have scouts there at Texas or Texas A&M. Why did he go to Boise State?
High school football doesn't get much attention in Texas, Dan.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
They don't pack like 20,000 seat stadiums, and no. They should make a move. They should make a movie about it or something. I don't know.
If you're driving down the road in a random town in Texas, which has no zoning laws, by the way, it's like gas station, daycare center, weed shop, giant high school stadium, supermarket, giant high school stadium. I mean, we played basketball this past weekend at Middletown High School, which has rebuilt their basketball court. And if there is a nicer basketball court in the United States, Jerry Lucas Court may have it locked. It is unbelievable. I mean, it's like a museum. But the football stadium, go Google high school football stadiums in Texas, and you're going to think you're looking at like 1AA football schools. Like, oh, is that Tulane? No, it's not Tulane. It's West Texas High. And like 2 or 3 towns will put in money, and they split the stadium. And tell you what, if you're going to rob a bank, Friday night's the time to do it in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody goes to high school football games. You think we got it good here? You know what we should do?
Nobody.
Let's recruit Texas a little more. Well, we already do that, Devin.
I think recruiting Texas has been good for us, and we should just keep doing it. I think that's. I'm glad. I'm sure Mark Pantoni's listening to the show now. Is glad he has us to. Oh yeah, it's a good idea. We should probably keep doing the recruiting of the Texas. How about that? It's working pretty well. All right.
While we're at it, let's like Florida and California.
Georgia. I think we should probably keep recruiting Georgia too. Yeah. I think recruiting in state should be a thing. Georgia, Florida, Texas, California, all those good places. Pennsylvania. All right. Jersey. We go on and on. All right. Great stuff from Dan. It was great being back. Appreciate Dan filling in for me last week. Did a great job. And you'll be with the people tomorrow with the Dean and the Poobah.
For sure.
Boom. Tuesdays with the Dean and the Poobah and Rubes. Love it. Thank you, Dan. Thanks to all of you. We really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day.